What's up, Cinemagners? We got some exclusives. Fatale movie behind the scenes. Smash the subscribe button now and hit the notification bell to be notified when new videos are released. Let's go.
Camera and action. Oh, man. Excuse me, miss. Hey, could you give my boy here a stove and the rice? All right? You know, actually, make that a double, okay?
Okay.
Shit. You about to get turned. We in Vegas, baby. What's up with you, man?
Oh my God. That is a good actor right there. We can keep that.
It's more a therapeutic getaway. I have a high stress job in another city, so I need to.
Boom, gets a foot up, pushes him back, sits up a little bit, sees that he's still going for the gun, and takes off after him, and that's our cut.
3, 2, 1, action!
Good.
Detective Quinlan just arrived. She's going to be taking care of you from here on out. Mr. and Mrs. Tyler, I'm very sorry for your troubles.
Mr. Tyler, you just should stay in rest. Talk to you.
I don't remember much right now, but, you know, just choking me. He fired the gun a couple of times. I could barely hear.
I like that.
Yeah. Not much. You just came by to check out the house.
Not much. Came by to check out the house a bit, and we talked.
Yep.
We talked.
Nothing serious.
Action.
Tracy! Trace? Am I interrupted?
No. Your wife was just showing me around the house.
Yes. Mainly playing their music really loud, so we have to call the patrol.
Okay, well, I'll check that out and see if anyone was down there during the time of the break.
Compton. Perfect. Cut. We got it. Right? She lands, right? Like here. This guy can land here.
So the exit, you cut the
outside the radio with Lamborghini, whatever.
Her car.
All they reacted to here.
We have to have a beat where she's gonna say how she know what Ben is with the iPad, so she will. Okay, which breaks this whole thing. Yeah, so you would transition from an eye looking through the weight to like your whole head coming out.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still rolling.
This is my second opportunity to work with Deon, and that was a strong factor for me because we had a good time on The Intruder. The opportunity to work with Hilary was definitely a factor. And at the end of the day, the character and the script kind of spoke to me and made me realize that, this was a role that I could really, that would really push me and challenge me and force me to stay focused throughout the duration of the shoot. Derrick is, he's an ex-athlete turned sports agent. He's doing really, really well. Looks like he has it all. But, the juxtaposition of what he has materially versus what he has emotionally is one of the more interesting dynamics, I think, in the film. And, after like a kind of a mistake that he makes, you start to watch him lose it all and you get to see kind of what he's made of at that point. In the script, Derrick is very ambitious and driven. And it's easy to start off the movie as a character who's very driven and ambitious and focused. The question becomes, how does that person retain that when everything falls apart, when everything is pulled away from them? How do they have the fortitude to kind of stay in the game and still push through and fight back? And that was kind of the big draw for me. Deon is, his enthusiasm and his kind of team sports approach to directing and running the set and running his empire, like all of that, I can really relate to that. I try to stay enthusiastic about what I do, and it's amazing how much he can lift the morale of the crew by, whether it's cracking jokes or just showing his excitement as a filmmaker for a great shot, for a great scene, whatever it is. He keeps things fresh in a lot of ways, and he has this incredible eye from watching the monitors to find and discover these beats that as an actor you just either forgot or you just didn't pick up on. So his vision is something that I trust a lot. It was a joy, a pleasure, and an honor. Obviously she's a award-winning actress. What I enjoyed about working with her was just how giving she was as an actor. She doesn't give you something different when the camera's not on her. She still gives you, everything that you need to make your coverage appropriate and accurate and present. So she's there for you on that. She's always inspiring because she's always working on, her lines and the scenes days in advance. So it was good to see how someone who has achieved so much in the craft still has the hunger and the discipline and the focus every day and brings it to work and gives you 100%. And at the same time, one of the sweetest people I ever met. I liked working with Mike. It was our second time working together. We worked together on The Good Wife. But he is, he's a fast talker and a quick thinker. And, whether we're on set, in a scene, or off set and not in a scene, he's kind of one of the most interesting people you'll ever meet because he just has opinions on everything. But as far as his acting and, you know, his work as Rafe in this scene, he played an amazing partner, an amazing best friend, and I thought that, you know, our scenes together show a real bond, which, you know, I think helps with the big payoff in the movie.
You see this couple with problems, and it's real, but here's the other thing. They got a big house. They got money. They got nice cars. They got nice clothes. They got jewels. Are they happy? In the entertainment industry, in the world, we say the sky's the limit. I call bullshit. And I say that because when you tell yourself that there is some place that you are reaching to, sometimes you stop when you get there. When you think you get there, right? So you got somebody who says, I want a really big house. And they think that when they get that big house, they're gonna be happy. When they get that big house, they're gonna want a bigger house. You're watching a movie with a couple who never reached that sky that they were looking for. And that's, I think, most people look at people who are rich and think that it equates to happiness because they have more things. It doesn't equate to any type of happiness at all. And you see that in these scenes, that this whole thing is spiraling out after you see the perfect couple in the beginning of the movie who just had a little problem. But people are gonna watch this and go, if I had that house, I'd never fight. Yes, you would. It's so inspiring to be on set with an actor who's not afraid to feel. That is one of the hardest things that humans have to go through. We hinder ourselves so much from feeling, but he truly just gives it away every time he steps on the scene. And for me, it was such an honor to be able to play alongside him, but also, you know, people talk about his eyes and they talk about his looks and they talk about all that other kind of stuff, but those were things that he didn't choose. Right? Chose to be an actor, chose to work on his craft. And so this is a movie where I really think you get the actor first and then the Ealy later. And that was really special to be around, where you had this team that, my phrase is, I rise, you rise. When somebody else does good, you do good. And when you do good, somebody else does good. And that's what Ealy really brought to the set for my character, especially because how he played Derrick made me want to play Tracy even more. Working with Deon is like working with the change you want to see in the world. Deon puts unlikely pairs together. Deon's got Hilary Swank, me, Michael Ealy, Mike Colter, Tyrin, all in the same movie. None of us look alike. None of us sound alike. None of us are from the same place. That's a dynamic you don't see very often when it comes to Hollywood.
I had just coming off the movie The Intruder with Michael Ealy, and he was one of the most phenomenal actors that I personally had a chance to work with, and I knew he needed a movie that, what I like to call, was heavy, and this was a heavy film. And the minute that I was in position to make this movie, he was my first phone call. The most challenging scenes in the movie thus far for Fatale has probably been, which would sound kind of weird, has been the conversation pieces. You have two people that are actually playing chess each and every time they talk. And I think the challenging parts of the film has really been about what they're saying and how they're saying it and what the intent is behind each and every word and conversation they have. The vision for the movie was to create a film for today's audiences that evoked the same feeling I had when I was a young kid seeing Fatal Attraction. I remember just going like, oh my God, oh my gosh, he's crazy. Oh my God, he's crazy. Like, I just remember so many beats, and I wanted to make a movie that today's audiences could actually appreciate, a movie that does not systematically go by the everyday Hollywood rules, which is people cheat sometimes. People get caught sometimes. But what happens if you're in a situation where you cheat with the wrong person and you become a victim of something that they're putting together? And I said, man, it was intense, it was dark, it's scary, it's sexual. It's like everything that you want to hit someone's hand and say, don't do that. This movie represents that. Conversations with Hilary, conversations with Michael Ealy, and we went in depth in terms of what we want the characters to look like, what we want them to sound like, where are they, what's the backstory? You know, Michael Ealy being a former athlete, now running a business, it's a lot like me. Hilary, incredible, decorated detective, but at the same time has done something tragic in her life years ago and has been paying for that mistake over and over again. And basically what happens is one guy, wrong place, wrong time, it alters this entire life. One thing that I wanted to do as an African-American filmmaker is I decided a long time ago I would never let anyone put me in a box in terms of what movies I make. And not that any other black filmmaker has been put in the box, but I feel like I wanted to be free. Like if I wake up today and I want to make a comedy, I don't want anyone to be like, oh my God, he's making a comedy. What's that gonna look like? Make a thriller, make a horror film, or if I wanted to make something like Fatale, which is something that will probably gain critical acclaim, you know, something that's award worthy, I want to be able to do that. And I feel like as an artist, that's our right. I think the most exciting thing is not knowing what's next. I think that's what's beautiful about being independent is I wrap this movie in a few days, I sit down and I'm not waiting for a phone to ring for someone to be like, hey, I'm gonna give you a job. That happens, great. I'm waiting for my mind to say, D, this is hot. So I think that's what's exciting is like the next one.
Believe me when I tell you that working with Deon is something extremely special, even for me. I've done a number of movies with many different directors and who all have different ideas, different approaches. Deon also likes collaboration from everybody in the crew. And that what makes working with him very interesting because you can really express yourself. You can deliver to him ideas, knowing that if these ideas don't work or for some reason are going in the wrong direction, he's so good with these ideas about the movie that he can, say, correct you and take you in the right direction. So you're free to bring your own experience, your own vision to the movie. There's an idea about this movie that starts with a very classic approach. Imagine the anamorphic. I suggested anamorphic lenses for this movie to have really this edge of big dimension filmmaking. And so the movie starts with a very classic approach, beautiful shots, kind of a very traditional language. And then after a catastrophe happens to our leading character, then we go into a more cinema verite kind of way of shooting. So handheld, there's more drama, the rhythm. And so there's a variation in these, styles of shooting this movie. As a colleague of mine said, we have in ourselves 2,000 years of human experiences in visualizing things from painting, artwork. So yes, I mean, you see movies and each one of them can, give you ideas and you try to store all this in your mind. So when you have to take a decision, that little computer that your brain is has the right answer. In this case, I think it's very important to be prepared on anything that has to do with design, with art, and possibly movies, of course. Having said this, I don't think there's a specific movie that inspired us for this film, but the recollection of atmospheres and ideas and things you've seen, images you've seen in a museum maybe, will help you without you actually realizing it to make choices when you shoot in the movie.
Working with Michael Ealy is wonderful. He's a great actor. He's very generous. You know, I showed up out of nowhere 2 weeks ago to do a scene with him, and then showed up yesterday morning to do a couple more scenes yesterday. And he and the director, Deon Taylor, they just completely enveloped me and welcomed me like I was family, like I'd been here all along. Just let me slip right into the process, and it's really lovely. Last night we were shooting some scenes right above where we're sitting, and it just felt very good, the chemistry between us. He's a very generous, sensitive actor, and I really appreciate working with someone like that. Deon Taylor, the director, has been great because he's already made my part bigger than it is in the script. He's given me a lot more to do, which is really nice. But when I read the script, the good thing about it is I could identify with everybody. And that's a good script when you can read even the characters that do some wrong things, and you can still say, I can see how that would happen. There's a part of me that identifies with that, you know, as a person, not as an actor necessarily, but just, you know, in terms of identification. But no, I mean, the part of the backstory for me is I'm an Ivy League, you know, East Coast, kind of a little bit of a snobbish lawyer, a little bit of an elitist. So having gone to an Ivy League school, I can relate to that kind of thing. So, you know, I feel at home in this part.
My character, Rafe, is a guy who he's sort of I want to say he's an everyman kind of guy, but he knows his position in life. He's been very lucky up to this point. He's been able to get by playing sports. He's been very gifted. And now he's in a part of his life where he's trying to find the next phase, trying to find the next opportunity. And he basically is working at a sports agency with Derrick. And Derrick is sort of the brain of the agency. He's got that business acumen. And Rafe is a guy who's he's a people person. I like to call him the closer. He's the kind of guy that he meets the clients and he sort of wines and dines them, and he brings that to the table. And that's something that's very valuable to the agency. I like about playing characters that are not necessarily characters that I'm comfortable with when I first read them, because I know that I play characters that I try to find things that are different. So this character, I think at the end of the film, people are going to go, oh, I don't know if I like him, and they may have a judgment about this character, but that's okay because these characters are important to the film, and I like to have the opportunity to play things that will make people feel something. It may not necessarily be comfortable or make them feel like good. I just want to make them feel something. I want them to have a strong reaction to the character that I play. So this is an opportunity to have that. Rafe was a character who is a bit selfish. He's a bit manipulative. He's a guy who has good intentions, but at the same time, he has a duality to him. So he sort of lives a dual life. And the key to playing a guy like Rafe is knowing that you're just doing what feels natural, and there's no such thing as right or wrong. I mean, I think people will see the film and go, oh, I'm not so sure I like Rafe, or maybe they don't like Rafe, or maybe they do like Rafe. But I think it's always conflict. It's like we like things sometimes, and then we find out we feel guilty for liking those things because we go, oh, that I kind of connect with that person. I kind of relate with that person. I think that's what's going to happen here. And I think the key to playing Rafe is allowing him to just do things 100%, whether it's wrong or right. Just play that scene and to play those moments, because what we do in life is very much like that. Every moment we're just doing what it takes to actually get what we want out of some situation, and that's what we do. We're always playing a role in life, whether we're listening or whether we're actively talking or doing. We're looking for something. And I think Rafe is always doing that. And I think to try to put him in a box and label him as a bad guy, it would be disservice. But I think Rafe is going to be an interesting character that they'll like. We're an unlikely group, and you put us in a film like this, and this sort of genre that we're in, it's going to be unique in itself. We're not the normal, set of players in this kind of genre, so it's going to be interesting to see how people see us on screen and what they're trying to figure out about the story, and what they come up with. So I enjoy the look of it. I enjoy the cat and mouse, chase of the storyline, trying to figure out who did it. It's always a who did it in these kind of films. The ultimate hype man, he's like a director / hype man, and I've come across a few directors that are very positive in that way, but Deon has an energy about him. I think he, if he wasn't directing, he'd be a coach. He'd be coaching somebody on a basketball team, football team, coaching, because he has that kind of energy, and he still keeps focused on the small things, and I like that about him. I like he doesn't miss the small details. He knows how to tell a story. He knows how to find the moments, and then he has an idea about how he wants it to be seen on screen, and he hires great people around him, to make it happen. So I trust him. He's a really, really good, perceptive director.
It's like a noir thriller, based between, I would say, like a Fatal Attraction and Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. We have Hilary Swank as our lead. She is a very, very well-respected detective in the business and been in the game for a very long time. We have Michael Ealy, who is a former professional athlete who has built an empire creating a sports marketing firm with his partner Michael Colter, who plays Rafe. And pretty much Ealy and his wife Damaris Lewis, who plays his wife, they have everything at their fingertips. They've created a very established life, very well off to do. But obviously something's missing in their marriage, which often happens sometimes with marriages when you work a lot, you don't have a lot of time, and sometimes it bridges a gap in your relationship. Everybody's affected in this ride, and there's a lot of nail biting, there's a lot of tension. Rafe, the character, his business partner's involved, his wife's involved, and Hilary just manipulates the whole entire film. And without giving away, the whole movie, it's not your traditional Hollywood ending, and you'll be surprised on the trips and turns along the way. Hilary Swank, she's so incredible to work with. She's 100% all the time. She really goes the extra mile to figure out how to tweak the character, where she can pull from, working out, peeling back the layers as we go. And when you go through the list of all the amazing actresses and try to choose who can you choose, and so sometimes we look at their body of work, and I feel like there was no one better than Hilary Swank to play this role. Ealy, he's a household name. He's been on every screen as well, and he brings a different dynamic to the film. Colter, again, he's a household name from the TV world, and all the ladies love him, love them, both of them, right? So it's really, really an honor to work with these guys. We don't really have like a to Z kind of checklist on how we choose the films and what we do next, but we really are hands on the ground, we feel like, and like in the streets, if you will, and really try to recognize what's relevant in the world and the culture, what people like, what they don't like, and we just want to make it fun. We want to make sure we speak, I think I said earlier, to everyone. We're minorities, we came from nothing, and we just really want people to come and have fun, and we like making movies that take characters out of who they normally are, like really peeling back, and showing that not just their normal stereotypical movie they may do or whatever, but really pushing them to show stuff that they never seen. The good thing about Deon is he's really incredible. Is he can do any genre. We started with horror, thrillers, comedies, action. It's limitless. He's like a Steven Spielberg. Like, there is no certain genre that he has to be in.
If you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button and subscribe to our channel to see more videos like this on a regular basis.